What do a cat, crocodile, and duck all have in common? Where are they from? What kinds of new mechanics are we going to see in Generation 9? Stay tuned to find out. What's going on, guys? It's MagesticPie, back with another theory. Before I get into it though, I just want to say thank you for all the support on a number of my videos. It's crazy to me that you guys have viewed my Mega Evolution Theory video over 24,000 times and almost 1,600 views on my Nessa Theory video. I truly appreciate the support. Also, I'm now streaming on Twitch, so drop a follow over there too. Maybe you'll get to see some of my thought processes at work while I'm playing other Pokemon games. I'd love to have you over there. Now, let's get into the theory. This video is broken up into two parts, discussing two small theories I have of the recently announced Pokemon games, Scarlet and Violet. Both of these are the next generation of games that introduce new Pokemon and a new region. So, where exactly is this region based off of? Since the first generation, each region has been based off of a real area in the world, with the first 4 generations being based off of different parts of Japan, Unova being based off of New York City, Kalos being based off of France, Alola being based off of Hawaii, and Galar being based off of the UK. Of course, Gen 9 wouldn't be any different. So where is it? Since the Direct on the 27th, fans have been riling and have narrowed it down to 2 places, Spain and Italy. Now, we don't really have a lot to go off of. However, the reveal trailer has left a lot of hints as to what it could be, and I think I have it nailed down, Spain. As the trailer opens, it begins with a security guard investigating a room filled with a ton of stuff, much of which looks pretty old. It flashes and brings into view a scene from the game. It shows a city, which appears to be a citadel that blends with the surrounding wilderness. Sure, at first glance, it doesn't really look like much, except for an area in a somewhat tropical location with plenty of wilderness and expansive ocean. However, if you look closely, there are a lot more details that give it away that this region is based off of Spain. In my opinion, the biggest giveaway is the architecture. Much of it looks like Spanish colonial architecture, from the bright colors, to the shapes of the buildings, to other archways that appear to be designed off of aqueducts. I'm no expert on architecture by any means, but I'm confident enough to say that these are pretty similar in style. While I understand the influence on much of Europe in the Mediterranean area, and that much of their architecture is similar, I think there's something more important that really puts the nail in the coffin as to why it's based off of Spain. In the trailer, it focuses on what seems to be the main town, or at least a very important one, with a very large building that towers over the town. I'd presume this is the Elite Four building, given its size and detail. Also, it looks a bit familiar. Pokemon has been known to include landmarks from the real-world counterparts they are based off of. This includes the bridges and subway systems in New York, that they are in Unova, the Tower of Mastery and Kalos, which is based on Le Mont Saint Michael, and the Ferris wheel in Winden in Galar, based off of the London Eye. And these are just a few notable examples. The list could go on and on. I'd say the large building looks very much like the cathedral in Barcelona. In Spain's history, religion, specifically Catholicism, was a huge influence, so much so that the large cathedrals were built in cities, and many of them were the largest buildings in them. The Barcelona Cathedral has numerous points on the top, much like the building shown in the reveal trailer. However, then, I'm not fully convinced. Another location in Barcelona, of which is another church, is the Sagrada Familia. The architecture of this is even more telling, given the nearly identical points on the top of the building and almost identical design minus the archways on the top. This design is unique to Spain, specifically the Catalan region. In its finished design, the Sagrada Familia called for a total of 18 spires in ascending order of important figures in Christianity: the 12 Apostles, the Virgin Mary, the 4 Evangelists, and the tallest one being Jesus. Now, this is an interesting point, because in the trailer, this building shows a total of 5 spires. The relation? The Elite Four would be seen as the most important people, which would represent the 4 lower spires, with the champion being represented by the higher spire that is on top of the Pokeball. This alone, I believe, sets the region in Spain. However, there are more details that give hints. The camera then pans around a number of other buildings in more rural areas, which appear to be more Spanish plantation-style homes, with traditional architecture and landscaping, including fountains and gardens outside. The trailer also shows inside what may appear to be the player's home, and has very traditional Spanish designs, including hardwood floors, bright colored walls, and adobe accented stairs and railings. Interestingly enough though, the camera also pans along the wall of the bedroom with a map hanging on the wall. At a quick glance, it would appear that the region is a large island. That very well could be true. However, the camera purposefully does not show the entire map. The right side of the map is cut off, and I think that is intentional. Present-day geography might also be a clue here. When looking at a map of Europe, Spain borders France on the east side. What part of the map is cut off? The east side. It's possible that southwestern Kalos, which is based off of France, borders or is near this new region. While we don't know where many of the locations shown are on the map, much of the wilderness is filled with palm trees. There is one location in Kalos that has palm trees: GlitchxCity. GlitchxCity is accessed in the X and Y postgame and is in the southern portion of Kalos, surrounded by palm trees. The Kalos map is cut off, so it is not far-fetched that Kalos is connected to this new region, unlike other maps that show a definitive cutoff, such as an ocean. Because of all of these pieces of evidence, I am certain that this new region is based off of Spain. So now that we've pretty much established that this new region is based off of Spain, what kind of gimmick does it have? Since Platinum, we've gotten a new battle and or legendary Pokemon mechanic. It first began with Shaman and Giratina form changes, legendary fusions, then to Mega Evolution, Primal Reversion, Z Crystals, and Dynamax. So what exactly is the gimmick for Gen 9? There isn't really much to go off of. However, we do have some clues. The first, and likely most important clue, is within the Japanese logos for Scarlet and Violet. Since X and Y, the Japanese logos have hinted at what the new mechanic is. However, the American logos do not. The X and Y logos had the Mega Evolution symbol, Oras had the red and blue orbs for Primal Reversion, Sun and Moon had Z Crystals, Ultra Sun and Moon had the logo on Fused Necrozma's head, and Sword and Shield had the Dynamax logo. So surely, the star symbol shown on the Japanese logos indicates something about the new mechanic. But what exactly is it? Here, The Japanese logos reveal this blue, six-pointed star pattern. But just like the previous games' logos, this symbol is quite obscure, and it doesn't really tell us anything. But hold on to that thought. The trailer doesn't really give us much here either, such as the battle UI or really any battle scenes, except one where Lucario is fighting Hisui and Zoroark. However, there's a common theme I've seemed to notice that may shed some light. The opening scene of the gameplay footage shows a rainbow over the large town that contains what I previously discussed as the Elite Four building. While this might be there for aesthetic purposes, I think it is more intentional and leads to the new battle mechanic. You're probably thinking, it's just a rainbow to make the town look pretty. What importance does it have? And on first glance, that would be correct. Taken alone, there appears to be no significance to the rainbow. The details become more apparent as it shows more of the town itself. In the center of the town, in front of a large set of stairs that leads up to the Elite Four building, is a huge tile design. It forms a star shape with larger points on the four cardinal directions. Inside is a circle that is divided into 18 sections, colored for each type and the respective type symbols in each section. Inside of this circle is a white rectangle that appears to form a battlefield, which is bordered with a mixture of pink and blue iridescent textures. In the center is a rainbow-colored Pokeball. It also appears that the colored type tiles are all around the city, with the same iridescent textures. So what's with all the references to rainbows and stars? Surely it isn't something purely aesthetic. Similar to Galar, which hinted about Dynamax because the gyms were much larger, each being a stadium to support these large transformations, the town must also be hinting at the mechanic. The focus here is the numerous rainbow references and the center of the town where all the type symbols are. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the mechanic has something to do with types. What exactly about them? Personally, my belief is that the new mechanic likely introduces something similar to Z crystals, in which they have the power to change the type of a selected move once per battle, in order to unleash a strong move that is always super effective. Similar to Z crystals, this mechanic can be used to potentially turn the tide of a battle, but not so much that it is overpowered or broken. Pokemon have always been limited to one or two types, and could diversify their capabilities with moves that are not the same type at the cost of some power. But what if instead of hindering those weaknesses, the game instead takes advantage of those in order to make any move possibly super effective? This of course comes into play similar to Arceus' multi-type ability and Silvally's RKS system ability. While multi-type and RKS system change the user's type entirely and only affects either Judgment or multi-attack, this mechanic would give all other moves a similar effect in order to change either into a move that is guaranteed to be super effective, similar to how Shadow moves worked in Pokemon Colosseum and XD Gallop Darkness, and give them a power boost like Z Crystals. This, however, isn't my only idea with this. My second idea with how this mechanic might work is instead of one crystal that changes a move to be a guaranteed super effective hit, it instead adds 18 new crystals, one for each type, and adds either a new move that is a blank type, or that it has the ability to override the type of a current move Pokemon has, such as that it acts similarly to abilities like Pixelate, Refrigerate, or Aerialate, and these crystals act like the plates or memories used by Arceus and Silvally. Either way, it could potentially be an interesting mechanic that does something previously only held by two Pokemon. It's interesting to see the development we will get on this new mechanic, but for now, all we are left to do is speculate and theorize. So, what do you think? Do you think that this region is based off of Spain? Somewhere else? What do you think the new gimmick will be for Generation 9? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you like what you saw, hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell icon for more content and to be notified when it gets uploaded. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.